Hi and welcome to my channel. My name is Elizabeth. Today's practice is going to be a short stretch and flow class, so you can either do it in the morning to give yourself a little burst of energy, or at any time in the day if you feel you need a little bit of a pick-me-up. There's going to be quite a few downward dogs in this short practice, so if you need to have a rest at any point, just come down into child's pose, press pause, take a rest. So we're going to start our class today on our backs. So bring yourself down. We're going to start in an active rest position, which means keeping the knees bent, taking the feet mat distance apart and just letting those knees drop in towards each other. So just taking our hands on to our bellies to be aware of our breathing. We're just going to take about 3 to 5 inhales and exhales this morning. So we draw that breath in through the nose, maybe taking that first exhale out through the mouth. And as we breathe in, feeling the belly rise and noticing the fall of the belly as we exhale. You'll have to excuse the background noise. I'm very lucky to be on my holes at the moment, so there's a bit of traffic going past outside. So with each exhale, just feel yourself relaxing a little bit further. Letting your body feel heavy and your mind a little bit lighter. So let's walk the feet together so they are stacked underneath the knees. Keeping our right foot on the floor, just taking our left knee in towards the chest, maybe taking the hands around the front of the shin, and very slowly, gently just drawing that knee in towards the chest. Extending the right leg on the mat if you want to, maybe circling the ankles. And as you breathe in, just notice how your body's feeling this morning. And as you exhale, maybe drawing that leg a little bit closer in. One more breath here, keeping those shoulders soft on the mat. And on our next inhale, just extending that left leg all the way up towards the ceiling. So we might have quite a deep bend in the knee if it feels tight down the back of the hamstring, and that's perfectly okay. We just work with where we are today. The inhale, we just notice how our body feels, and as we exhale, maybe we can move a little bit into some space, maybe not. And keeping those shoulders soft. So bringing a bend back into that right knee as we drop the foot to the floor. Take our left foot to the floor and then just take both legs over towards the right hand side. Opening out the arm, just giving yourself a little twist here. All the while just focusing on that deep breathing. Trying to keep our inhale and our exhale roughly the same length. And we come back to center. Drawing our right knee into the chest this time. So again, option to keep our left foot on the floor or extending that left leg in front of us. Softness through the upper body. Using that exhale to draw that right knee in a little closer. Inhaling our right leg up towards the ceiling now, again feeling quite tight personally, down the back of that leg, circling the ankle maybe, just seeing where we are on our mats today. Bringing bend back into that left knee, right foot drops alongside and we take both legs over towards the side. Little spinal twist. Bringing ourselves back to center, hugging both knees into the chest now. Little spinal massage, side to side, little circles, forwards and backwards, whatever you want. And we're going to come up to seated, either rocking yourself up to seated or just bringing yourself up any which way you choose. So either sitting cross-legged or sitting on your knees. We're going to reach the arms all the way up. Nice big stretch, keeping the shoulders soft as we inhale those arms up. And then dropping the right hand down towards the mat. Lifting that left arm a little bit further. Coming into a lovely stretch down through the left side of the body. So we're keeping that right shoulder away from the ear. Nice big stretch here. Maybe turning our gaze underneath our left armpit. As we inhale, draw the arms back up. And as we exhale, we find that bend on the opposite side. Stretching down through the right hand side of the body, keeping both sit bones glued to the mat. Try not to lift up. Inhale, let's bring it all the way back up, big stretch up, and then bring our hands down towards our heart. As we make our way over onto all fours for a little cat-cow stretch, again just bringing some mobilization into our spine. Inhale, lift the tailbone and the gaze, and as we exhale, we round the spine in the opposite direction. So moving with the breath, the inhale takes us one way, the exhale the opposite way. And just taking as many as you want to. Finding our way back to a neutral spine. This mat is very slippy, by the way, so if I end up doing the splits, do not copy that. We're going to come into downward facing dog. So bring ourselves up into our downward dog. Pedaling out the feet. I'm finding a bit of stillness. I am so slippy on this mat, it is ridiculous. We're going to take our right leg up towards the sky, the ceiling, and just open out the hip. Straighten that right leg back behind us, and then drop our foot between the hands. Now we can stay on the ball of our left foot or drop down onto the knee as we reach our right arm up. We turn that hand to the floor, step ourselves back into our downward facing dog. Coming on to the opposite side, so we lift that left leg, open out the hip. Straighten the leg back behind us, leveling the hips as we bring the foot forward. Again, staying on the toes of the right foot, or drop down onto the knee. Inhaling that left arm up. Returning that hand to the floor. Let's step it back into plank. Drop down onto the knees, just coming to child's pose. So we can give our wrists a little bit of rotation here. As I say, we are going to do a few downward facing dogs. So if at any point you need to stop and come into child's pose, have a little wrist stretch, feel free to do so. So from our child's pose, we come back up onto all fours, come into downward facing dog. Lifting our right leg up, bending the knee, squeezing it in towards the nose, and then drop that foot between the hands. Staying up on the toes of that left foot as we reach the right arm up. So we're just going to add on a couple of postures to this flow. Return the right hand to the floor, find your balance, so find your foundation under your feet before lifting up and reaching our arms up into a high lunge. Keep those shoulders soft. Big inhale as we extend, we exhale, brings us back down. Step our right foot back into a plank, lifting up into downward dog. The left leg lifts. We bring the knee forward, drop our foot between the hands, reach that left arm up. Return the hand down, find your foundation here, find your balance. Inhale, let's take the arms up in our lunge. Big breath in, building our energy. Exhale, take it down. Step it back into plank. Downward facing dog. Couple of breaths here. Again, if you need to come down onto your knees or child's pose, just to take a couple of breaths. So we're going to add on a couple more postures into our flowing sequence, giving us a burst of energy. The right leg lifts, we draw the knee to the nose. Take the foot between the hands, breathing in, opening out into our twist. Breathing out, returning the hand to the mat, finding our balance as we lift ourselves up, finding that balance. So from here we're going to open it out into a warrior two. So excuse me, I am going to turn my back to you as we shift our feet, keeping that right knee over our ankle, coming into our warrior two. Windmill hands down, framing the foot. Just step it back into downward dog. Inhale, lifting our left leg. Draw the knee to the nose. Step it between the feet. Inhale, twist. Exhale down. Find the balance. Inhale, high lunge. Exhale, opening out warrior two. Windmill our hands down. We just have one more little add-on to this little sequence. So from our plank, we lift up into our downward facing dog. Take a couple of breaths here. Pushing our hands, our feet equally into the mat. I am sliding forward. Taking our right leg up. Bend that knee in. Nice little squeeze into the center of our body as we drop the foot between the hands. We lift the arm on the inhale. Drop it on the exhale. Moving with our breath as we inhale into our high lunge. Exhale into our warrior two. Reverse our warrior now. Taking our left hand down the back, reaching up with our right. Back into warrior two. Straightening that right leg. I am just going to whiz round because this will make more sense. So we're still on the right leg. We're going to straighten that right leg. Turn our feet to face the long edge of the mat. Roll the shoulders back and down. Hinging from the hips, a little forward fold. Now if the hands don't touch the floor, rest them on the front of the legs. Let the head feel heavy, getting that lovely stretch down through the back of the legs. Taking our hands onto the mat, if they reach, we're going to walk them around to the right foot, drop that left knee, this time moving the right foot to the edge of the mat. Sliding the left knee back as far as feels comfortable as we take both hands to the inside of our right foot. So we're coming into a lunge, a lizard posture, which is a lovely stretch for the hips, for the groin here. So we're just going to hold this for another couple of breaths. So we can stay on our hands, we can stay on our knees. Some people find it more comfortable to lift the knee. Some people find it comfortable to come down onto the forearms. Listen to what your body is saying to you today and just do what feels good. Let's walk that foot back into center. We're going to take it back into plank. And then from our plank position, back into downward facing dog. So I'm just going to whiz myself around again, just so that I'll be facing the camera. Repeating all that on the opposite side. The left leg lifts. We bring that knee forward and through. Inhale on our twist. Exhale down. Find that balance as we inhale into that high lunge. Staying strong through that front knee if we can. The exhale draws us into our warrior. Take a moment to shuffle the feet around, finding your foundations. Reverse our warrior, so just bringing the right hand down the back of the leg. Back into warrior two. Straighten the left leg, turn the feet forward, hands to hips. Roll the shoulders back and down. Exhale, coming forward. Dropping those hands underneath the shoulders or resting them on the front of the legs. Letting the head feel nice and heavy. Deep breath in and a long breath out. Walking our hands around, towards our left foot now. Drop our right knee to the floor. Push that knee back. Move the left foot to the side as we find our lizard pose on this side, which will probably feel completely different to the other side. So again, we have those options of lifting the knee, dropping to the forearms, a little bit of both. Just finding the posture that works for you this morning, or this afternoon, or this evening. So if you're on your forearms, come back up onto your hands, walk your feet back in, back into that plank. Drop our knees, take the bottom towards the heels, and come into a well-earned child pose. Keeping your elbows on the floor, touch your palms together, and just lift your hands behind your head. From our child's pose, bringing ourselves into a seated position. Just roll yourself over onto one hip or the other. And we're going to come back to lying on our backs as we started our class. So just bring yourself down, keeping those knees bent. Take your time, roll yourself down. Just taking our feet mat distance apart once more, letting those knees drop into center. One hand on the belly, one hand on the heart. And just returning yourself to your breath in case you lost it through that flow. In case you got a little bit short of breath. Your heart rate was raised. So we just bring ourselves all the way back down again. You can even begin to close your eyes as we work our way towards our relaxation at the end of the class. Walking our feet underneath our knees and just taking our knees about hip distance apart. So we don't want the knees to fall out to the side. I think it's nice and strong foundations. Taking our arms alongside the body, the palms facing down. And then starting from the tailbone, just lifting that tailbone off the mat, pushing through the feet, and then just lifting the hips off the floor. So the shoulders are staying on the mat, the knees aren't falling out to the side, and we're just coming into a little bridge pose before we finish. So squeezing our glutes. Imagine you're squeezing a block between your knees, so you're activating through your inner thighs as well. Nice deep breath in, a long breath out, and then rippling our spine down to the floor, if we can, vertebrae by vertebrae, so that tailbone is the last thing to hit. Walking our feet together, allowing our knees to touch as well. Coming into a final twist, so we can repeat the twist that we did at the top of the class, where we just stack the legs, just drop the knees to the side. Or we can intensify it just a smidge by taking our left leg, crossing it over our right as though you're sitting on a chair, and then dropping both knees over towards the right hand side. Just opening out our arms or cactusing the arms. If that feels too much, just stack the legs. You don't have to do this extra little bit of twisting. Coming back to our central position. Uncross the legs if they're crossed, or keep them stacked. Taking our right leg over the left and then taking both over towards the left-hand side. And always remember that one side of the body will feel different to the other. So what you might be doing on one side might not feel so good on the other. So don't feel you have to do exactly the same things on both sides of the body. Let's bring those legs back into center and find our final posture, our Savasana, our relaxation. So we can come into this active rest pose, put the knees rest against each other, or we can extend those legs on our mat. Just let the ankles feel nice and soft, so the feet flop out to the side. Relax the arms alongside the body with our palms facing upwards. Gently closing the eyes if that feels the right thing to do for you. And just be aware of your breath as you draw it in through the nose and out through the nose. Feel a stillness creep over your body and work its way into your mind. Taking as long as you are able to in this final posture. If you are only able to stay for 5 breaths, then so be it, but if you can stay here for 5 minutes, then that would be marvelous. But just do whatever you have time for this morning. And then whenever you're ready, just bringing yourself back into a seated position. There is no hurry whatsoever. As we return our hands to our heart, just give yourself a little bow of thanks for making it onto your mat today, whatever time it is for you. Thank you very much for joining me. And remember, if you like this video, and press the like button, subscribe to my channel, maybe even give it a share. Thank you so much. Namaste.